Hello, have you ever wondered how to turn a Middle-earth starter set into a full-blown army in just minutes? Today I'm revealing the quickest, easiest and most spectacular speed building methods this side of Middle-earth. No cutting corners, just pure, unadulterated hobby madness. So stick around if you want to see how I turned this arse-aching task into an art form. Let's get to it. So I have just finished 3 of these Middle-earth starter sets since the release a couple of months ago. Built, painted and table ready. So I'm pretty sure that makes me the undisputed world authority on speed painting this starter box. So let's get into how I did it and why going fast doesn't always mean cutting corners. So a huge thank you to global warming, which means it's now basically summer in the middle of Scottish April. This is absolutely fantastic for those of us who like to hobby outdoors. Stuff dries fast, I don't freeze to death, and I get to pretend that everything is all fine. I don't know what it is, but wasting a full day outdoors feels way less wasted than one in front of the couch. Like, I could sit here hobbying in the sun for hours and still feel like I've vaguely accomplished something. You know, vitamin D and Dunlendings, what a combination. Today we're tackling the Dunlendings or Hill Tribesmen. First, I've decided to show you how to build the archers, as they are some of the most fiddliest models in the new Middle-earth starter set. All the techniques I'm going to show you on how to build these can be applied to all the other troops in this set. So naturally we're going to start with the sprue. I'm going to walk you through how I deal with all these step by step. So 5th things 8th, clip everything out into neat little piles of plastic. Make sure you don't mix them together, as these are all monopose infantry and you don't want to get all the bits mixed up because that means you won't know which ones go on which model. Don't worry too much about precision here, we'll be cleaning up the mould lines in Flash in a bit anyway. Just make sure not to clip any of the tiny bits onto the floor, never to be seen again. Ah, Jesus Christ, where did it go? It's like the 4th time I've dropped one of these fucking little arms or faces. Those Dunlending faces have a habit of vanishing, just like they've put on the One Ring, which is sadly not a wargaming option in this edition. Though honestly, the idea of a bunch of homeless jakies with the One Ring would be a cracking idea. Just imagine all the steaks and champagne that they could steal from Marks and Spencer's. Alright, so we're on to 34th step. You might think we clean up all the flash on every model before getting to the gluing, but nope, that would be far too sensible. Instead, what we do is clean up the first model, getting rid of all the flash and mould lines. We then glue this model together, minus the arms. This way, when we get the other 3 done and cycle back round to the first, it should be rock solid and fully glued, thus making it way easier to glue the arms on. This is particularly important for the spearmen or the two-handed models, where you have to like glue the axe onto the 2 hands. You want the body to be fully glued and solid before trying to attach the arms and the hands. Otherwise things get really messy. So we then repeat this step until all the bodies have been cleaned and glued together. For peak efficiency, you could do all the Dunlendings or Rohan warriors at once, all 24 of them, but personally I think that would cause you to have a stroke. So 4 models at a time it is. Anything more and I probably end up launching them all into Mount Doom. Huh? You want scratchies, mate? Actually, do you know what? I can do this. I can do this and hobby. Multitask. Pleasure a rabbit. And oh, that sounded wrong. So we are now on to the 16th step in this process. We're going to glue all the arms onto the bodies that we've already assembled. As I've just previously said, this will be about 10 times easier now that the bodies are all nice and dried. However, you are going to just take my word for it, as I, in my infinite wisdom, failed to film this part and instead took a 6-minute video of my lunch here. Maybe one day I will not be a complete twat. So this whole process took about 7 or 8 minutes for the 4 guys. I think that's a highly acceptable time to have them all assembled. All we need to do now is base them. And here we are on the 83rd step, just gluing them to the base. Some of these are a nightmare, as the only point of contact is when they're on their tippy toes. My recommendation would be to pin those ones for a solid hold, but for the sake of speed, I'm going to show you how I do it with just glue. So you just put the glue on the foot of the miniature, then use your hobby knife to hold down the foot on the base for a good 10 to 15 seconds. This gives the plastic glue time to start breaking down and rebonding the two different plastic sides together, basically letting Saruman's magic happen. Now let's have a talk about these bad boys, and as much as it pains me to admit it, I think Alex might be right on this one.
So we've each got 24 of these dunlins to make. You think they're a complete nightmare.
Yep.
I think they're probably not.
Okay.
Or I think they might be, but I think they'll be worth it. That's because I've never said they weren't a nightmare.
Okay.
What I said is they're worth it for the detail.
As much of an arseache as it was to build all these, I've got to say the detail is worth it. They just look so nice. However, I do feel like there should be a little bit of a compromise. For example, I think that all the single-handed weapons should have their own arm. This might cost Games Workshop a tiny bit more in plastic, but fewer tiny fiddly bits would lead to less soul-crushing woe when having to build them all. And as we can see, some of these are pretty simple to build. There's obvious connection points, like almost kind of push fit, that make it super easy to see how they all go together. You know, all you need to do is put a bit of glue on and push them together and Bob's your uncle. But then there are others, ones where the connection points are flat surfaces and it takes multiple attempts just to figure out how the legs and chest line up. No, I can assume that everyone else would be quite happy to just have the push fitty ones that are much easier, less stress and more hobbying. And this one, don't get me started on this one. This one always takes me 10 years to fit together. Despite having built 4 or 5 of them now, you'd think I'd have it figured out, but nope. Every time it's like a brand new fucking Sudoku puzzle. Right, now that they're all built, you're going to want to see the fastest, quickest and most spectacular way to paint these lads. I promise you'll have an army of Dunlendings in seconds. Prepare yourself to be blown away. So, Abaddon Black up first. This is just going on all the belts and the straps on the miniature, and I'd say I give about 50% of their beards this colour as well. A lot of the Hill Tribesmen have kind of darker, kind of blacks, browns and kind of grey hair. Next up, I'd normally use Iron Warriors Silver on the metal bits, but as you can see, I'm showing you a Flaming Brand man here, so we just skip that step. If you were to do silver, just add a wee Nuln Oil wash over it and then give it a Stormhost dry brush afterwards. Nice and simple. Next up, we want XV88 on the foot straps and the kind of arm guards. This just helps give them a little pop of colour, despite the fact that it's just another shade of brown. I then use Brinox Hide to kind of fix any bits that I've missed from the base coat. I can see under his legs here and up his scalp, you know, where his willy is. I'd missed it with the spray paint, so I'll just give that a quick coat of the Rhinox Brown. And in the fur, I give a nice old coat of Steel Legion Drab, before finally getting some Cadian Flesh Tone on the skin. All these base coats are nice and simple. Now we're on to the most crucial step in this whole process. Agrax Earthshade all over the miniature, just like everything else I do. It's just liquid skill in a bottle. Let's get it done. I would highly recommend checking my other Dunlending video from the previous edition if you want to give them a bit more. If you have a bit more time in your hands, I would definitely go with an oil wash. But however, these days I find myself going off oil washes a bit as they just take so long and they just cover everything in manky, muddy paint. So I only really do it when I have to. And that is because, as you can see, once this is dried, I have found the best thing ever, which is AK Interactive Super Matte Varnish. I have a link in the description for this stuff. I think it's an absolute game changer. When you see your models all finished, satiny and gloss from the Agrax wash, I am now more than happy with this because rest assured, a quick liberal coat of AK matte varnish and we're back to being nice and matte. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I love this stuff. I cannot sing its praises enough. It's just class. It's just class. However, you know, if you like the satin and gloss look, skip this step. It's up to you. You know, if that's what you're into, go nuts. But anyway, step fucking 8012 now. You might think we're going to have to highlight all these different layers with different colours. It's going to take absolutely ages. No, We don't need to do that. We get Beyblade Brown and we dry brush the whole fucking model. Doesn't matter what part of the model it is, we dry brush it Beyblade Brown. Well, apart from the skin, obviously. Just everything else. Everything else, Beyblade Brown. You know, this gives the Dunlendings a kind of manky, dusty Howl Tribe look that I'm after. I think it looks absolutely class. I know it's just dry brushing, advanced dry brushing, but I think dry brushing gives the most natural effect. It's nothing to do with it being super easy. I think edge highlighting it doesn't. Sometimes it just looks so weird. I just think I like the kind of smooth tone from the dry brushing. And it's much easier than wet blending because that can get in the fire. But yes, we do need to do a little bit more dry brushing. We get some flayed one flesh and we dry brush that on the skin and the fur. And that's us all done. That's it done. Oh wait, if you're doing archers, give the wee arrow shafts, the arrow feathers, some screaming skull, and then a sepia wash, and then a skull highlight. Easy peasy, super. But anyway, before we wrap up the final touches, let's just have a quick word from this video sponsor. This video is brought to you by Wet Palettes Unlimited, where our palettes are wetter than your mum's minge. Tired of paints drying too quickly and leaving you with stiff, lifeless colours? Our wet palettes are so drenched you'll be swimming in a rainbow of hues. And if you let them go a little too long, they even start to grow their own unique mould. A true one-of-a-kind masterpiece that's as unpredictable as your hobby projects. Forget dry and boring, dive into the wet revolution with Wet Palettes Unlimited, where even a little mould adds a little character. Okay, need to fire my agent. So in the meantime, you can see that I've given the base a quick coating of Geek Gaming Scenics Patchy Plains, and then I've given the base rim a solid coat of Mournfang Brown, just like I do absolutely everything. Now John, I hear you ask, how do you speed paint fire without it ending up looking absolute wank? Well, it's really easy actually. So all we want to do is cover the flames in a nice solid white. This could take 2 thin coats. Next, grab your Imperial Fist yellow and your Griffhound orange contrast paints. I did at first start with yellow and red, but the red just didn't look, it looked a bit too cartoony, so I decided to do the yellow and the orange. We want to get a good coat of the Imperial Fist yellow contrast paint all over the white, nice and thick. Then we're going to take our paintbrush and just get a little bit of the orange on it and tap it onto the tips of the flames. Use your brush to gently blend these colours together and be sure to let it fully dry before the final step, which is to simply get a nice red. I went with Evil Sum Scarlet and just give it a really fine dry brush, just catching the most prominent tips on the fire. Again, apologies for the terrible camera work here, but as you can see from the finished results, it's quite nice. And then I get quite a few questions about the tufts that I'm using. I tend to use ones from Tajima1 shop. I'll put a link below. I swear by these tufts. You get such a good amount and so many different varieties of colours, and like you can get bushes and stuff. And I just think they're the best value I've found in the UK, because you can get like 6 boxes for 25 quid, which is just fantastic. Link below. I'll put the link below. And here we go. All done. All done. That's it. All finished. Here's the final product, the full army, laid out for all to see. 24 Rohan traitors, 48 Dunlendings. Ignore the Azog stuff in the background. That was a different thing. I don't know why I put that out. But yeah, I think this looks absolutely cracking for the short time invested. I'm pretty sure I could crank out one of these armies in a day, which might not be a bad idea considering I've got my own 2 sets to do. I've got 48 Rohan warriors to build and paint for myself soon. If I can get through these commissions, I really want to do my own Rohani 48 model horde. That's going to be fun to do again. So if you're wondering how I painted the traitor Rohan lads, there is a video on the channel. And there's also a seagull tutorial, but that one is Patreon only. So if you want to join the merry band of shaggers in my Discord for some exclusive content, do check out the link in the description. And of course, a huge thank you to those of you who have stuck with me this far, and my merry bunch of shaggers. With the world going up in flames, all the support you give me is highly, highly appreciated. Thank you so much. So do let me know what you think in the comments. I do love reading them. Are you happy with these results for the amount of time that I put into it? Or am I just a complete bellend? I'm happy to hear either way. And as always, I will see you in the next one. I can't be arsed reaching the camera. Transition. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. Why don't we do it different? We've not done a rabbit transition. Oh wait, rabbit transition. Rabbit transition. Rabbit transition. Whoa. Not interested, mate. Whoa. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember to give my bell a good old ring. Hello and welcome to another episode of J-Max Armies of Middle. Hello, and have you ever wondered how to turn a middle... Hello, and have you ever... Fucking hate this so much, man. Hello, and have you ever wondered how to turn a Middle-earth starter... I might put that in front of the camera. Hello. Hello there. Have you ever wondered how to turn a Middle-earth... I keep putting it like here, but you can't see it. You put it... Hello! Can't do it. Which is... Bucky's like, what the fuck is that? It's a Middle-earth starter set, Bucky. Just writing a wee list. What do you think, Jamie?
I'm getting there.
Happy with your commission then?
Just looks Drybrushing, mate, to be honest. I was sort of going to go for a wee refund off you, I think. Yeah, I'm not very...
Well, fuck you.
Not very impressed.
You fucking dick.
Too much...
Well, you're not wrong.
Too much brown.
It is all dry brushed.
Anyway, how are these crows?
Contrast paints.
Fair. Oh, there is another one of them.
Get your bargain armies at J-Max Armies of Middle Earth. Go. Hello and welcome to another episode of J-Max Armies of Arda. And yes, I am now a specky ginger bastard.
Did you bring the instructions?
No.
No, neither did I.
You should have seen them in there.
They're not mine.
Oh, then I brought mine.
don't suggest that I was competent when actually you were competent.
Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, that's not the instructions. That's the rules. Look, that's the rules.
Ah.
So I forgot the instructions.
Instructions are in the van then. Come take a seat, John.
For the observant of you that can see the clock timer in the background, I did time all of it, but then I kind of accidentally deleted it and I forgot what it was. So I just didn't bother putting it in. Sorry. Although maybe I can tell from this how long it took. Oh, here we go. There we go. Oh, 8 minutes for a guy. Okay, it took 8 minutes a guy. Is that good? I suppose if you're batch painting it'd be faster. 7 minutes to build 4. Oh, I can't be asked in the maths. No, we're leaving it out. Fuck that. It was fast anyway. I'm fast. If anyone wants to fucking race me, I'll challenge you. Then we're going to take our paintbrush and just get a little bit of the orange on it and tap it onto the tips of the flames. Use your brush to gently blend these colours together and be sure to let it fully dry before the final step. Than wet blending, because that can get in the fire. And it's much easier than wet blending, because that can get in the fire.